Several inches of snow in this region yesterday, but tonight clear, 42 degrees. Lincoln Financial Field ready to rock us. Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys coming to Philadelphia to take on Michael Vick and his Eagles. Great rivalry game on NBC's Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels, Cris, Collingsworth, Michele, Tafoya. Welcome to Philadelphia, where the Eagles might as well be in playoff mode already before we even get into November. They come in with a record of 2-4. Will spend the rest of the season trying to climb out of that hole. Have 3 straight counting tonight at home, but make no mistake, this is as big as it gets for a midseason game for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cowboys in a little better shape, have a record of 3-3 coming into Week 8 with a bye week already gone. Now the Cowboys are the drama kings of the National Football League. Every game except one, last week's win over the Rams, has gone down to the wire. Need a win tonight to stay a game back of the Giants in the NFC East. Cris, the one thing the Cowboys have lacked this season, consistency. Every game's been a thrill ride. What do you think the rest of the season is going to bring?
Well, I hope we get a thriller at least one more night out of this whole thing, but it's really not that hard to imagine the Dallas Cowboys being undefeated at this point. A couple of late mistakes by Tony Romo has really made a huge difference. But the Cowboys do have a secret weapon tonight in DeMarco Murray. What a show the rookie put on last week. 253 yards rushing to shatter all the Cowboys records.
Rookie out of Oklahoma. Now, as far as the Eagles are concerned, Andy Reid in his 13th season, he is 12-0 following a bye week. They come off a bye week. What's their approach tonight?
Well, they have to find their big play again. If you've watched the Eagles over the past couple of years, you know this has been the best big play offense in all the National Football League. And they just haven't had them so far this season. But they are an extremely confident bunch. We've seen them in practice a couple of times this week. They think they're going to put on a show tonight. One man who, of course, can provide a big play or even 2 or even 3 tonight would be the wide receiver, Deshaun Jackson. On the other side, we'll take a look at DeMarcus Ware and his 8 sacks. It's Philadelphia and Dallas on Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Subway Breakfast, the Sunrise Subway Milk. It's flat out delicious. By Hyundai. If it's fuel efficient and stylish, it's probably a Hyundai. And by Verizon 4G LTE, America's fastest, most reliable 4G network. Spanish audio provided by Telemundo.
Up to the minute in the NFC East. Earlier today at the Meadowlands, the Giants got a scare but came from behind to beat winless Miami 20-17 to go 5-2. Meanwhile, in Toronto, a home game for Buffalo, and the Bills beat Washington 23-0. First time Mike Shanahan has been shut out in his illustrious career. Thus the standings: Giants 5-2, Dallas 3-3, Washington 3-4, and the Eagles are 2-4. Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo moments ago spoke with Michele Tafoya.
Tony, for so many years when you've played the Philadelphia Eagles, you've seen a bunch of blitzes from their defense. So far this season, that hasn't been the case. So what's your approach to their defense tonight?
Well, you know, they sprinkle it in once in a while, but, you know, they're a team that wants to look at the ball and try and create turnovers up front. They got a great pass rush, and, you know, we got to be prepared for that and minimize mistakes.
You're also down to 2 running backs, both of them rookies. What kind of a command do they have over the game plan and of your offense in general?
Oh, they've done a good job. You know, they've had a lot of reps in training camp, and they've played a little bit the last week or two. So, you know, they're going to get thrown in there. We believe in them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in that position. And, you know, they got to get out there and get the job done.
Tony, thank you.
Thanks.
And Romo will again be wearing a Kevlar vest to protect his ribs. He also took a pain-killing injection before coming out onto the field. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, their #1 kick returner and backup running back Dion Lewis suffered a minor car crash earlier today. He was not injured, but he was a bit shaken up, so Andy Reid has decided to deactivate him.
Thank you, Michele, and that will come into play immediately as you look at that great shot, Lincoln Financial Field. Part of the tradition here, the fireworks before the game. And David Beeler, who's been on the shelf for a couple of weeks, he'll kick off. And we'll see if Ronnie Brown will have a chance to run this back. With Lewis hurt, here is Brown's first ever NFL kickoff return as he brings it back out to the 21-yard line. And we'll take a look at the Eagle starters.
Michael Vick, Virginia Tech.
LaShawn McCoy,
Pitt Panthers.
Jeremy Mackin,
Mizzou Tiger. Deshaun Jackson, California.
Jason Avant, Carver Military Academy.
Brent Selleck, Cincinnati.
Jason Peters, Arkansas.
Evan Mathis, Alabama.
Jason Kelsey, UC.
Danny Watkins, West Kelowna, Station 31.
Todd Ehrman, Saginaw Valley.
Eagles happy to have Peters back. Had a hamstring pull, missed 2 games. And you saw Watkins introducing himself, their #1 draft choice at right guard out of Baylor. From the 21, Vic will take his first snap in the shotgun. And has to step up and tries to step away and finds nowhere to roam as he's taken down at the 19-yard line. Loss of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 12.
You know, one of the problems, you're going to play these guys, you're going to see a lot of pressure, and LaShawn McCoy at times is going to be left one-on-one and have to pass protect. But really the solid offensive line up front is a good sign for the Eagles with all the pass rushers that the Cowboys can give you.
Key guy obviously to watch on the pass rush is DeMarcus Ware. 2nd down and 12. Vic taking this snap under center. A little short drop, and then the pass is caught on a slant for a first down by Jeremy Maclin, having a great season. Maclin out to the 44-yard line and a first down. It's a gain of 24. And for Maclin, that's his 38th catch of the year.
Yeah, Maclin, so many questions about him, giving him a lot of space over there on that side. And the Cowboys really tried to give him a little change-up look because DeMarcus Ware, their best pass rusher, dropped underneath that zone. Obviously, he's not as good going backwards as he is coming after Michael Vick.
From the 43 on first down. And on the ground. And they're the best rushing team in the league. But that is McCoy who trips before he can get up ahead of steam. Let's take a look at the Dallas defense.
Kenyon Coleman, UCLA.
Jay Ratliff, Auburn University.
Marcus Spears, Louisiana State University.
Anthony Spencer, Purdue.
Brady James, LSU.
Sean Lee, Penn State.
DeMarcus Ware, Troy University.
Terrence Newman, Kansas State.
Abram Elam, Kent State.
Gerald Sensabaugh, North Carolina.
Mike Jenkins, South Florida.
Coleman and Elam came over from Cleveland along with the defensive coordinator Rob Ryan. 2nd down and 7. And this defense is a whole lot better than it was last year. Big hole, big gaping hole. And of course, the minute we say that, a huge hole opens up for McCoy, who takes the ball inside the Dallas 35 to the 33-yard line. So the best rushing team in the league going against the best rushing defense. That's a gain of 21.
Jason Peters, welcome back for the Eagles. Watch this down block here. McCoy on the cutback, but Peters took everybody about 5 yards down the line. He's their best offensive lineman, and they are excited to have him back.
At the 33 now, at first down. McCoy averaging 5.4 yards per rush. Vic, when he takes off, averaging 8.3 per rush. And Vic down the right sideline and incomplete, and Deshaun Jackson looks around for a flag, and there is a flag. Orlando Scandrick with the hold. Gene Steratore, the ref.
Pass, holding, defense, number 32. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Of course, a huge difference between holding and pass interference. Pass interference, you get it all the way down the field. Holding is 5 yards and an automatic first down.
Yeah, and one of the things the Cowboys really wanted to do so far in this game is try to get some bump and run pressure to make Mike Vick hold the ball. Rob Ryan putting this plan together, but unfortunately for them, they've gotten the bump and run, but no pressure to speak of.
Not yet. Ball at the 28-yard line. Off the play fake. Vick takes off. Vick inside the 20. And out of bounds he goes at the 13-yard line. McCoy that time with a block. And anytime you've got Michael Vick in your backfield, you're going to be up among the league leaders team-wise in rushing.
Here's one of the new looks that they've been doing, this sprint draw action. This time they've been really hurting teams with that fake. And so now they're going to fake it and bring Mike Vick on a run. And if I'm not mistaken, Al, I think that is the first planned run that we've seen from Mike Vick this season.
We asked him the other day, of all of your runs this season, all 45, how many were called? He said none. at the 13-yard line. And this time it is McCoy. Stopped at the 12. Vic had that incredible Monday night game at Washington last year, but since then he's been somewhat human. And this year, 7 fumbles, 8 interceptions, 9 touchdown passes, and a pretty ordinary completion percentage for him.
Yeah, I'm glad you said somewhat human. He's still pretty extraordinary. But the Eagles have yet to score a point on their opening drive, but off to a good start here.
2nd down and 9 from the shotgun.
So man coverage on the outside.
And the pass is low and incomplete. And that'll make it 3rd down and 9. You had Abram Elam, who had a big game last week against St. Louis, former Cleveland Brown, putting the heat on that time.
Well, that time really lucky because Gerald Sensabaugh comes on a blitz and there's nobody there to block him, so it forced Mike to get that ball out of his hand before he really wanted to and calls the underthrow.
Elam coming from the other side. It's 3rd down and 9 now on the game's opening drive. Cowboys moving around on defense. Vic perhaps changing the play. Sidearms one to the outside. Caught by Macklin. Touchdown Eagles. $12 yards on a 3rd and 9.
They take advantage of the blitz this time. They're going to fake it in there and then throw it behind them, and there really wasn't the support on the outside. It ended up leaving no support underneath Mike Jenkins. Jason Peters comes out, kicks him out, and you get a walk-in touchdown.
Takes 4 minutes and 19 seconds. 4 rushes, 4 passes. And the rookie Alex Henry tacks on the extra point. Macklin, 2 receptions and the touchdown. And just like that, it's 7-0 Philadelphia. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You can find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Windows 7. By the Miller Lite Home Draft, Taste Greatness, and by Toyota. Last Tuesday, Nnamdi Asomugha, Akeem Jordan, Chaz Henry visited the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in costumes, part of the Eagles trick-or-treat community event. Halloween Eve here in Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field in South Philly. Michael Vick on that opening drive, 2 out of 3 for 36 yards. 1 run for 15. McCoy and Macklin did the rest, and it's 7-zip. Back deep, Kevin Ogletree to return the kick from Alex Henry. And it's a short kick. And at the 8-yard line, there's also a flag down. The Eagles were offside on the kick, and the run back comes out to the 24-yard line. About half the kicks this year, kickoffs this season, with the line moved up to the 35, have resulted in touchbacks. Gene Steratore signaling that it's offside and giving Garrett the option here.
I think they'll add that on, don't you?
Well, that's what Steratore wants to know. Meanwhile, McCoy stays loose.
Offside. Kicking team, number 82, will assess the 5-yard penalty and re-kick.
Interesting.
Well, Clay Harbor, maybe Garrett figures, and obviously he figures, not maybe, that he can do better than the 23-yard line. Henry's a rookie. They have a rookie kicker and a rookie punter, and Dallas would have a major advantage in the kicking game tonight. Take a look at the offside here.
Yep, foot on the line. Knew it was coming, and Jason's going to go for the big one here.
So Garrett's now been the coach for almost a calendar year. Took over in mid-year last year after Wade Phillips was fired. They were 1-7. He was 5-3 down the stretch, and thus through 14 games, 8-6. And so many of these games have gone down to the wire. As we said at the top of the show today, 5 of the 6 go into the final minute of play this year, all but last week's romp over the Rams. So now the kickoff back once it started last year at the 30, and it's a bouncing ball that goes out of bounds. So it was a good move because now the ball comes out to the 40-yard line. And so the Cowboys will start their first drive with good field position. 7-0 Philadelphia. Gamble by the Eagles this year. 2 rookie kickers. For years it was David Akers and Sav Rocca. They're both gone now, so they go with the 2 rookies there. And Alex Henry forced the kickoff again, and it used to be the 40-yard line, but now the 40 is the spot from the 35. But from the 30-yard line, and right now they want to make sure they've got it lined up correctly. After the penalty, they start from the 45-yard line, do the Cowboys. And the running back is the rookie DeMarco Murray, who had the 253-yard gain a week ago, and that's a pickup of 4 to the 49-yard line. Tony Romo, he has been all over the place this year. Had victories in his grasp against the Jets and against Detroit, and made some bad decisions and threw interceptions that were run back either for touchdowns or put the Jets in particular in field position. He goes without a huddle here to the 49-yard line. Off the play fake. It's Robinson, who they picked up after the beginning of the season, former Falcon and Ram, and he'll pick up a first down, LaRon Robinson. But Tony Romo has been, well, he's been the good Tony and he's been the bad Tony.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to watch him tonight because the Philadelphia Eagles, with their front four, can certainly get after the quarterback. And Tony knows that he's going to have to get this ball out of his hand. And no surprise, the first pass, a quick screen to the wideout.
Tony Fiametta is the fullback. They used the fullback with some frequency last week in front of the rookie Murray. And they give it to Murray. And Murray out of Oklahoma to the 40-yard line, and there's a flag thrown. And that'll come back. Cowboys with a hold.
Holding. Offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
The recently re-signed Montre Holland, who was with the team, had a tough time getting into shape, went to Cleveland to get into shape there, and then was re-signed recently.
Here's the stance on the outside. They call this the wide 9 with these defensive ends down low and coming off the ball. There's Trent Cole, who's back and healthy now on the other side. But that's really the game. Can they play that wide and still stop the run? Last game the answer was yes. The rest of the year the answer was no.
That was against the Redskins. 1st and 20. Romo, and he gets hit from behind and taken down. That's Jason Babin having a great season. The much traveled one who really came into his own when he finally wound up with the Titans under defensive line coach Jim Washburn. Washburn comes here, brings Babin with him in effect.
And he's working on the rookie Tyron Smith outside, pulls a little spin move, and Smith tries to do a kick save and a beauty, but to no avail. So that's really what Romo was worried about. And give the Eagles secondary credit. That first look wasn't there. Romo had to hold it. They gave up the sack.
So a penalty and a sack, and a 2nd down and 27. And Romo to the outside. The coverage is good, but the pass is right there. Robinson makes his 2nd grab, and Asante Samuel makes the tackle. And that'll make it 3rd down and 16 after a gain of 11 yards.
Asante Samuel, you better be careful around him. He reads quarterbacks. He saw Romo stop and almost got that one. Just couldn't quite work his way through Laurent Robinson. But when he has help over the top as a quarterback, you better be careful because he will jump routes.
3rd and 16. Samuel stays at the left corner. This time he'll be on Des Bryant, bottom of the screen. Romo running out of time, and he'll get taken down again. That's a sack and a loss of 2. That's Trevor Laws with the sack. So a penalty, 2 sacks on the play, and Dallas will punt.
All right, here we go. You get the crash, you get the loop around, and there you go for Trevor Laws. They are kind of going to work on the rookie over there, Tyron Smith, making sure that he knows full well what he's doing. It's amazing, though, that all these Eagles sacks are coming from defensive linemen after all the years of blitzing here in Philadelphia.
And the snap was high and outside, and that's been an issue for Dallas most of the season. And McBriar's punt, Jackson will call for a fair catch and make it at the 10-yard line. Eagles will have it for the second time tonight. 7:11 to go in the quarter. 7-0 Philadelphia. All right, you want to multitask? You log on NBCSports.com/SNF Extra. In-game stats, in-game highlights, HD video. Share the plays, Mike Florio and Michele as well. A lot of great stuff right there. The Dallas Cowboys on defense again as the Eagles take over at the 10-yard line, first down. Start on the ground. 5-yard gain from McCoy. You know what could be a big issue tonight? Dallas punting, because McBriar's been bothered with a left foot that they were calling drop foot, and he was limited in practice. In fact, they brought in another punter the other day, but McBriar ready to go. But there he was on the first punt, clearly an issue.
And he had a roll of tape. There's the brace. You can see it on the back of his left leg there. And he's got a big roll of tape. I mean, like 2 inches wide in his heel. And you could tell he can't control that left foot.
He's one of the best punters in the league, and we'll see if he's even able to return the next time he is needed. And Michael Vick taking a look at that defense on 2nd down and 5 and calls for Philly's first timeout. Well, tomorrow the great and good Brian Williams brings his unique perspective to primetime. The premiere of Rock Center with Brian Williams tomorrow night, 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central and Mountain, right here on NBC. And Brian is prepping for that by taking in tonight's game. Came down from New York, had to get a Philly cheesesteak, and here he is at least for the first half.
What a good guy.
Tomorrow night. Watch. It's 2nd down and 4. And after the timeout.
Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Jason Peters, the left tackle, making it 2nd down and 9 for Philadelphia now.
Yeah, not so good there, but he's been really good so far. And the Eagles off to a tremendous start running the football. They've got 48 yards rushing already. And this Cowboys defense hasn't allowed a 100-yard rusher all year. LaShawn McCoy averaging about 8 yards a pop so far in this one.
McCoy already with 31 yards on the ground. Vick with 15. 2nd down and 9 from the 11. And Vick fires over the middle, and that's caught by the tight end Brent Selleck out to the 30-yard line. First down, tackled by Brooking. In the middle of November last year, Vick had that sensational Monday night game against Washington. And then the first 6 games of 2010, there were his numbers. But since then, in the 12 games, last season and this, a 6-6 record, completion percentage very average, TD interception ratio okay, rating fair, and 16 fumbles, of which 6 have gone to the other team. And now Vick, after faking it to McCoy, couldn't tell if that was a broken play or not. But it turns out to be a 10-yard gain, tackled by Elam.
There's only one quarterback in the league who's going to make this move right here. A completely blown play. They miss the handoff. Vick holds on to it and just bounces it outside. There's no way to defend that. As a defensive end, as a contained guy, you think this thing is completely under control. You got him. Now he dips out and outruns everybody.
So they make a mistake and get 11 yards to the 41. 5 minutes left in the quarter. Good protection. And it's juggled but held onto by Jackson. And that's a gain of 12 and a first down for Deshaun Jackson.
Well, Brent Selleck had the big first down catch, and now he comes back and goes to work here against the best pass rusher, DeMarcus Ware. And I tell you, we're seeing Philadelphia right now doing just about anything they want. The pass rush of the Cowboys really has been a non-factor. And when Mike Vick gets time and he's clean in the pocket, most of his big plays happen when he gets that.
At the 47.
Come on. Back over. Back over.
Keep it on the ground. McCoy dancing away. Around the corner he goes. And he turns no gain into a pickup of 10. Got away from Sean Lee, who had a chance to make the tackle.
Poor Jay Ratliff right here has him dead to rights. There's no way you miss him from that standpoint. That was a little like Barry Sanders. Then on the outside, Sean Lee, who's the Cowboys' best tackler, thinks he has him. He takes a stiff arm to the face mask and pick up another first down.
To this point in the quarter, the Eagles have gained 133 yards. The Cowboys 17. From the 36. Cowboys show blitz. Here they come, and it's a run right through the middle from McCoy. Inside the 10, taken down at the 2-yard line. Sensabaugh saving the touchdown. And Ryan is furious. That's a gain of 34 and a good block by Selleck to spring him.
Yeah, we got all kinds of things. Here's Evan Mathis right in here along with Jason Peters, who are just caving down the Dallas Cowboys defensive line. I mean, so far the Cowboys playing the role of the Washington Generals to this Philadelphia Eagle offense that's doing anything they want. I mean, these are perfectly executed blocks up front, and that sprint draw is killing the Cowboys.
That was Selleck taking Ware out of the play. McCoy is a tailback. McCoy over right guard. McCoy trying to get in and does. Touchdown. McCoy already with 78 yards on 7 carries.
Well, first let's check to make sure he does get in. It looks like it. Remember, any part of the ball crosses the front edge of the goal line. No knee down. That would be a touchdown. And I tell you, I just remind you that the Dallas Cowboys came in with the #1 ranked run defense in the NFL, and they are just getting gouged.
Eagles have rushed for 104 yards in the quarter. The extra point is good. McCoy has now scored a touchdown in every game this season. And the Eagles off to a hot start, leading 14-0 at home. Great rivalries ahead. One tonight here, and then a week from tonight we'll go to Pittsburgh. Steelers with a big win today, taking on the Ravens in what has become maybe the best rivalry in the league at the moment. Patriots face the Jets in 2 weeks. Eagles against the Giants in 3 weeks, and there is your Sunday night football menu over the next 21 days. Ain't bad.
This is a little stunning here. I mean, the one advantage that maybe you were thinking the Cowboys had coming into this game was their ability to stop the run. Not so far.
Henry's kickoff this time is 2 yards in, juggled, and Ogletree will come out with it, but not very far. Only out to the 13-yard line. Colt Anderson making the tackle. They call him Shady. I love the way he introduces himself. Sean McCoy, Pitt Panthers.
He is so much fun to be around. You talk to the guys on this team, and they just tell you he is just brings so much energy to the locker room. He's out there like he's playing a video game. And there's his buddy Howard Mudd, who just came off a hip replacement, and he's doing the chest bump with him. I mean, we see everything out of these guys.
So the Cowboys down by 2 touchdowns, and to the outside goes DeMarco Murray all the way out to the 40-yard line behind a block by the fullback Tony Fiametta. So neither guy, of course, a starter even 2 weeks ago. Now both start. Fiammetta with a block, and the run is good for 26 yards from Murray.
Well, no wide 9 here. They end up going inside, which creates some angles, but you're exactly right. Fiammetta was the guy that came out and created that block, and boy, the Cowboys needed something to get him jump started.
And now here goes Murray through the middle. Murray went to school at Oklahoma as we take a look at the Cowboy offense.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois University.
DeMarco Murray, Oklahoma. Tony Fiammetta, Syracuse.
Miles Austin, Garfield High School.
Dez Bryant, Oklahoma State.
Jason Witten, Tennessee.
Doug Free, Northern Illinois.
Montre Holland, Florida State.
Phil Costa, Maryland.
Kyle Kozar, Arizona State.
Tyron Smith, USC.
Witten still Romo's prime target. Jason with 36 catches to lead the club. Play action, buys a ton of time, and then the pass is almost caught and then intercepted. Juggled by Martellus Bennett and intercepted by Nnamdi Asomugha.
Well, Martellus Bennett on a little wheel route out into the flat and then up the field, and he completely fans on the ball. Moses Foku then gives it a shot. Nnamdi Asomugha gets it, but for Martellus Bennett, I mean, he didn't even come close to catching that ball.
Assist to Foku, and then Asomugha picks up his second reception. He indicates I couldn't see it.
Obviously.
You're right. So Asomugha, the prime free agent signed during the offseason after the lockout, former Oakland Raider, provides the pick. Turnover gives them the ball at the 33-yard line, and the pass is almost picked by Newman, who had position that time on Jackson, 2nd and 10.
So you have to be careful with experienced cornerbacks like Terrence Newman. Watch him look in at Mike Vick. He is looking at the quarterback and basically beats Deshaun Jackson to the point. They feel like that they can get reads on Vick, maybe more so than these wide receivers.
And Newman, the equivalent of what Samuel does in that secondary for Philadelphia. 2nd down and 10 from the 33-yard line. McCoy dancing. And then Ware says enough of that. The 35 is Asomugha. The Philadelphia Eagles coming into the game. We mentioned the #1 rushing offense through week 7. 170 yards per game. Thanks, of course, to McCoy and to Vick. And the Cowboy defense allowing 70 yards per game on the ground. And already tonight, 106 yards on the ground for the Philadelphia Eagles. 3rd and 8. Pressure on Vick. Out he comes. And Vick looking for that 1st down. And that's the one thing you have to worry about with Michael Vick. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles with a flag thrown, he doesn't slide. He goes head first. And meanwhile, you got Sean Lee who gets hurt, and he's coming off the field. And a flag on the play, Gene Steratore.
After the play, delay of game, offense, number 7, will be a 5-yard penalty, and it will be 1st down and 10.
Well, he picked up the ball, and then he spiked it, and it bounced away, and that's a delay of game. There's your call after he goes down.
Yeah, the key is the fact, though, that they gave him the 1st down. It was a dead ball foul. So despite the fact he gets the penalty, the 1st down will stand, and they'll just mark it back 5 yards from there.
And that will take us to the end of the 1st quarter. And a big quarter for the Philadelphia Eagles. They lead 14-0. And NBC Sunday Night Football from Philadelphia continues after these messages. High above Philadelphia, aerial coverage tonight being brought to you by Geico. Downtown Philly, we're about a 15-minute ride south. down Broad Street. Al Michaels, Cris Collingsworth, Michele Tafoya, Lincoln Financial Field. 14-0 Philadelphia, and a first down for the Eagles from the 38-yard line. And Vick forced out again, and that'll be a gain of about 8 yards. And let's go back to see what happened to Sean Lee, the Dallas linebacker.
Watch his left hand. I think he punches right into the helmet of Mike Vick, and he went off shaking that hand, and it is a significant injury because Lee has almost double the number of tackles that anybody else has on this team. He has been the key guy. Of course, they have the veterans back there, Keith Brooking and Brady James, so they do have capable replacements.
Keith Brooking, 14 years in the league, and tonight celebrating his 36th birthday. So he's celebrating advisedly at the moment. And that's a first down into Dallas territory to the 48. Longtime Atlanta Falcon, Keith Brooking. It's all Philadelphia to this point. Every way you look at 192 total yards and 127 on the ground against, as we say, the #1 rushing defense in the league. Ronnie Brown is now into the game, and he is a fascinating story, flanking Vick in the backfield. Fake to him, and then Vick will take off. Brown is playing tonight. We talked about Dion Lewis involved in a car accident. Brown had been traded about 3 weeks ago to Detroit. He reports to Detroit. He's in meetings there. Jerome Harrison, the running back, is coming to Philadelphia, and then Harrison is discovered to have a brain tumor in his physical. So our best wishes to Jerome as he'll have to go through that process. And meanwhile, Brown comes back to Philadelphia. So he was traded in the Detroit camp, and now the longtime Dolphin is back here. McCoy now back in the game at 2nd down and 7. Selleck and the tight end taking Cowboys with him all the way down to the 30-yard line. First down.
Well, another way to slow down DeMarcus Ware is to screen in behind him. The Eagles scored a touchdown on this tight end screen against the Washington Redskins a couple of weeks ago. Well disguised that time by Selleck. And we haven't seen the Eagles have quite the success with their screen game this year that they have in the past. But boy, during the bye, they put a lot of work in on it, and it's starting to show off.
Andy Reid, the master of the bye. Jason Garrett marking his card. Andy Reid 12-0 after bye weeks. McCoy over right guard to the 28. Change, of course, in the offseason with Ryan coming over from Cleveland. When Pat Shurmur got the job there and Eric Mangini was fired, Ryan knew he was done in Cleveland. And it's a fascinating contrast between the urbane, slender head coach Garrett and Rob, who gives you everything on the other side. 2nd and 8, to put it mildly. And the ball is loose. And then at the 29-yard line, it looked like it might have hit Kelsey's leg as he was snapping it.
Well, this is going to go down under the embarrassing category because this time Jason Kelsey hit his own butt on the snap. Now, you got to be careful that your quarterback is behind you instead of in the shotgun. So I guess that Mike Vick doesn't put a lot of pressure.
Right. He probably
thought Mike Vick was right there underneath him, and he just wasn't. Oh, that's not good.
Hello, YouTube. 3rd down and 8. Kelsey, the rookie out of Cincinnati. Vick with a lot of time, and over the middle, and inside the 10 goes Jason Avant, who joins the hit parade tonight. That's his first catch. Abram Elam making the tackle.
One of the problems you have when you face this Eagles team is you end up with help and protection right here, but everybody wants to help on the outside wide receivers, and so far tonight we've seen the inside receivers take advantage. Brent Selleck, and Jason Avant now with big plays down the middle of the field. The Cowboys are going to have to adjust to help on them inside now.
Eagles unstoppable to this point. 1st and goal. And Vick to the back of the end zone. Does he stay in? Yes. Touchdown, Selleck. The linebacker James going back there with him, and Selleck staying in, making the catch, and Ryan still looking for the answers right now. He has none.
One of the problems is that Sean Lee is your best cover linebacker. Now you bring in Brady James to try and take on Selleck, and he's just not up to the task the way that Sean Lee would have been. So far for the Cowboys, they can't stop the run, and they can't stop the throws down the middle of the field.
3rd catch for Selleck tonight. An 11-play drive after the interception. Henry's extra point is good. And the Eagles come out roaring after the bye week, 21-0. Shot of the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. The Center for Autism there, and Jeff and Christina Lurie, owners of the Philadelphia Eagles, extremely community and civic minded. In all of his years as the owner of the team, have donated $2.5 million to that center. One of a lot of things that the Luries have been involved with since Jeff bought the team for what was supposedly the unheard of price of about $180 million in the early 90s. And everybody said, are you crazy?
He's a fool, right?
Right. Some fool. His team up 21-0. And that kickoff will be down in the end zone by Ogletree. So the Cowboys with a big mountain to climb on the road. Eagles adding some parts. Vince Young said this is the dream team, and that's been mocked through the weeks. But Babin has done well, 7 sacks. Jenkins came over from Green Bay. He's been good. Asamoah had 1 pick coming in and 1 tonight. Rogers Cromartie has made only 1 start. We talked about Brown getting traded to Detroit and back. Steve Smith has sparingly played, and the man who coined the dream team, Vince Young, has thrown 1 pass, and that was picked off. But tonight, they look like a dream team, at least for the moment. And the Cowboys now down by 21, and Romo throws, and it's one-handed and incomplete off the hand of Witten. Talked about it. You never want to make too much of an early season game, but this game, huge for Philadelphia, and they've responded so far.
Yeah, and they understood exactly what this game meant to them. We saw them in practice, and they were just flying around. I mean, it looked like getting ready for a playoff game out there. And so far, they've responded exactly like that.
Well, clearly, I mean, the situation is this, just mathematically. If they lose tonight, they go to 2-5. The Giants have already won. The Giants would be 3 in front, and the Giants have already beaten them in their only meeting this season. Murray to the outside. He goes. And that is a first down for the rookie who had 253 rushing yards last season, better than Emmitt Smith or Tony Dorsett or any other Cowboy in history.
Well, the key is always getting up to the second level, but for DeMarco Murray, this is really what the Cowboys are going to have to do. I mean, you look at the scoreboard and you're saying, okay, well, you don't want to, get out of your game plan. The Eagles have struggled this year stopping the run against good football teams, so the Cowboys can't get away from that.
Another rookie now, Philip Tanner, comes into the backfield, the tailback. They go with 2 rookie backs tonight. Felix Jones has a high ankle sprain, so he is not available. And they waived Tashard Choice yesterday. So the 2 rookies, Murray and Tanner, a rookie out of Middle Tennessee State.
And Tanner made a big impression on us in preseason. He was just a camp guy. Nobody really thought anything of him at all. And then he made a run in that game that we did. His helmet got knocked off, and he took off and was running, and all the guys on the sideline were going crazy. And ultimately, here he is now, just one of 2 running backs active for this game.
In a Cowboy uniform. As a kid, he sold concessions at Old Texas Stadium, and Jason Witten makes the catch, but for a very minimal pickup here. And it'll be 3rd down.
And Jamar Chaney, the guy in the coverage there, who really is not a middle linebacker. These linebackers for the Philadelphia Eagles have been shuffled all over the place. And it's Chaney, who is their best cover guy, number 51, that has the responsibility on Witten tonight. So far, he's been pretty good.
3rd down and 5. Murray back in. High snap. And then Romo falling backwards, throws, juggled, and is the catch made by Robinson. Tremendous circus catch at the 27-yard line. Asante Samuel, one of the very best, staying right with him. And for Robinson, his 3rd catch of the night, good for 28.
Well, you're going to get the shot off the line of scrimmage against Robinson, and Asante Samuel's in great position, but he's not looking back. And now the Cowboys trying to run a play before a challenge can be made.
Right. If he steps out of bounds, and there he is, he's on the chalk before he has possession, that won't count. And the Eagles saw that upstairs, so they can challenge it, and there's Andy Reid's flag. And that will be an incomplete pass because he was clearly out of bounds and then came back in. Coach's challenge. So the call on the field is a reception. We think it's going to be overturned because the ball was touched, even though it wasn't possessed by Robinson when he was out of bounds. You can see it coming up here. He's touching the ball. His foot is out of bounds. He reestablishes, but he's touching it at first before he is able to get possession of the football, and thus, unless it should be ruled incomplete. Now, had he not touched the ball and gone out of bounds and come back in, that would have been legal. But if he's touching it and he's out of bounds, this is going to make it what we feel is going to be an incomplete pass.
On kickoff returns, actually, you can go over with the ball bouncing around the sideline, intentionally step out of bounds and touch the football, and you'd get it out on the 40-yard line. That is the extent of that rule right there.
So Robinson came over after the beginning of the season, had been with the Rams, before that had been with Atlanta to add depth. It's interesting to note tonight, of course, Dallas has barely had the ball, but Bryant has not caught a pass, and Austin has not caught a pass, and that would have been Robinson's 3rd grab.
But it was interesting that the Eagles now defensively, because the Cowboys got a couple of runs against them, have started playing more of the bump and run with these corners, so opportunities might start to avail themselves.
Sterator has now come away from the hood.
After review, the receiver did touch the ball inbounds, then go out of bounds, touch the football while his foot was out of bounds prior to reestablishing himself. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. It will be Dallas's ball. 4th and 5. The ball will be placed at the 45.5-yard line on the hash mark nearest Philadelphia's bench. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 8 minutes and 5 seconds.
And there was Jerry Jones.
And Philadelphia is not charged with a timeout.
Looking on from upstairs, Cowboys, of course, tried to get to the line, knowing it would probably be challenged, and tried to get the play off before the challenge, but couldn't. And thus, we'll take a look at McBride now, who has that left foot, the plant foot issue, and the brace.
Those shoelaces in that left foot.
And to punt again, and Deshaun Jackson, always capable of taking one to the house, back to receive it. Low kick. Jackson's going to have a chance from the 16. Spinning around. Looks like a video game. And nothing but white shirts there. Great coverage by the Cowboys special teams unit under Joe DeCamillis. Tonight show, Jay Leno coming up. You got Justin Bieber. You got Eddie Murphy. You got Kristen Stewart, Mickey Rourke. Some of this week's guests on the Tonight Show. And we're going to stand tomorrow. World Series MVP David Freese will be with Jay. And clearly the Cardinals inspired the Rams today. What do you think?
Boy, they did. That was, watch the tape of them against the Cowboys. I was thinking, boy, that's the team that's going to get the #1 overall pick, and they were brilliant today.
Beat the Saints in a shocker. Philly with its 4th drive, all 3 drives to this point have resulted in touchdowns. to the outside. That's a short gain for Deshaun Jackson, and we check in with Michele Tafoya. Michele.
Oh, Al, Dallas linebacker Sean Lee will not play for the rest of the first half, at least. He has sprained his left wrist. That's what they discovered after x-rays back in the locker room. They're going to reevaluate him at halftime, but at the moment, he'll stay in there and won't play the rest of the half.
Yeah, that's a big loss. We talked about Lee playing more and more, a guy who has a nose for the ball, has created a lot of turnovers. But he's out, so we'll see a lot more of the 36-year-old as of tonight. Brookings, 2nd down and 5. And McCoy has no place to go, setting up a 3rd down.
Well, that time DeMarcus Ware did a pretty nice job. LaShawn McCoy has just been tearing up the Cowboys so far, almost 100 yards rushing, and we haven't even made it to the to halftime yet. So right now for Rob Ryan, he's got to find a way to first stop the run and then take their chances down the field, because it hasn't been these outside receivers beating him so far. It's the runs and the inside receivers.
246 total yards for the Eagles. Vick on 3rd and 5. Time finds Selleck again, and Selleck, who's become more and more active in the past couple of games. Selleck earlier in the season, not that much involved in the game plan, but tonight very much involved. 4 receptions, including a touchdown for him.
Remember also, Sean Lee makes the calls on this defense. He rehearses them all the time. That time the Cowboys clearly looked confused out there, or trying to make a late check. But you see the shell coverage. They're worried about the big plays from these wideouts. And so far, Mike Vick's doing a great job reading it and taking those inside throws.
From the 26. And Vick throws. Open is Avant. And he gets taken down at the 45-yard line. That's another 1st down. Brookings making the tackle. The Eagles now have 18 first downs, and the Cowboys have 3.
Now here it is. They're all out here in this big umbrella coverage. So now these 2 really non-coverage linebackers inside are having to take the tight end, or having to take the 3rd back and 3rd receiver coming out of the backfield. And at least so far, Mike Vick's just making it look silly down there.
From the 44. Long count. McCoy. Nothing on the right side. Off he goes around the left side. And he's close to midfield before he's taken down. Well, a lot of war of words, and Ryan, the quote machine, much like his twin brother Rex, referring to Philadelphia as the all-hype team. That got a lot of play, of course, in the press this week.
How do you think he's feeling about that right now? Right now they're looking like the dream team.
And living up to the hype. 2nd and 5. Vick stepping up. Boy, he's on target. Almost every pass. Selleck making the catch. Selleck a big night. Vick a big night. Vick's now 11 of 13. That's a gain of 22.
Well, right now they're faking the bootleg, coming out this way, and then throwing back to this side of the field. You see Selleck come in looking like it's going to be a bootleg away, and then going back the other way. I think Andy Reid and Marty Morningweg had a little extra time on their hands during the bye week. They're dialing up a few things the Cowboys haven't seen yet.
First down of the 29. And Vick stopped at the 29. 2nd down.
We'll go back to the last play, and you see one of the keys for Mike Vick is the depth that he's able to get on these drops. As he goes back away from the line of scrimmage, now you're going to have to, as a defender, try to come up the field to get him. But look at the space in front of him as the 2 outside pass rushers go deep. There's just nobody left in there. So now he's stepping up. He's keeping his eyes down the field. If it's not there, he's taking off and running. So right now the Cowboys struggling to come up with a formula that's going to work against Mike Vick.
2nd and 11. And just before Brooking gets there, Vic throws the pass away. And it will be 3rd down and 11. Brooking coming in almost untouched. 3rd and 11.
Boy, I tell you, the Cowboys lucky there. They were bringing a blitz off the edge, and the Eagles had a perfect call, a screen that way, and for some reason, Jason Peters got a little confused and turned around and seemed to deflect the ball out of his own back's hands.
Almost looked as if he was trying to make contact with the ball. 3rd and 11 from the 30-yard line. Double slot to the left. Looking that way over the middle. That's Avant. Avant gets free inside the 10. Philadelphia with a 1st and goal.
They're working on Keith Brooking inside, not really a coverage linebacker. They're going to come in and then back out. The minute that Keith Brooking turns his back to Vic, he has no idea where he's going, but that pattern has worked over and over and over again against the Cowboys.
Two and a half remaining in the half. 1st down and goal. Here's McCoy. Getting about half the distance to the 3. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
I tell you, having Jason Peters back has really just solidified this offensive line for the Eagles. It's allowed them to take Todd Harriman's, who is sort of like the Swiss Army knife. He's played all over that offensive line. Move him back to the right tackle position. Peters back in there. They've been thrilled with the play of Jason Kelsey at the center position. Get the rookie Danny Watkins in there. They're starting to look sharp.
Right now the crowd is thrilled with their home team. 21-0. 2-minute warning. At the break, the Toyota halftime show. Eli Manning leading the Giants to a comeback win over Miami. Pittsburgh knocks off New England. Tim Tebow has a very rough day against Detroit. And our Rams correspondent, Bob Costas, will talk about the Rams' shocking win over the Saints. It's a classic shot. Howard Mudd, the offensive line coach, had his hip replaced 2 weeks ago. On crutches, looking on. His team now 2nd down and goal. A near perfect first half for the Eagles from the 3-yard line. Vic, a little dump to McCoy. And McCoy gets tripped up from behind at the 5-yard line. But Lissamore to make it 3rd down and goal. Timeout taken here. 21-0.
This is Sunday night.
And the Eagles night. So many options here. What do you think they're going to do, Chris?
You always think of putting Mike Vick on the edge, but they also love the shovel pass in this situation. Sprint Mike out and then just flip it underneath to LaShawn McCoy. So we'll see.
Well, let him roam. Come in with a fullback here. That's Owen Schmidt fronting McCoy. Send Jackson in motion on 3rd down and goal. And Vick is going to float it to the fullback. So of all the plays they could have called, with all the weapons they have, they bring in the fullback Schmidt, who's barely played tonight, and the pass is incomplete. 4th down after the Dallas had taken a timeout to conserve whatever's left of that clock and see if they can get something on the board when they get the ball.
Well, I'm sure they thought the Cowboys were going to be in man coverage, and they just weren't. There was an extra guy out there. That play had no play from the start, and I think Mike Vick knew it immediately. Although, Al, you called it. I was a little surprised to see the fullback in that situation too.
23-yard attempt for the rookie out of Nebraska, Alex Henry, picked by Philadelphia in the 4th round, and that kick is perfect. So the Eagles, scoring on every drive, lead 24-0. Sunday Night Football from Philadelphia, brought to you by Wendy's. New Dave's Hot Juicy Cheeseburgers by Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation for all. By Nike, basketball never stops. And by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite, taste greatness.
Cowboys need to hand that guy the ball.
Ooh, boy.
He got a little quickness to him. I'll tell you what, it's easy to blame the defense. Don't give him the ball. Don't even want to see him in the huddle. It's easy to blame the Cowboys defense so far for what we've seen, but offensively they have done nothing as well except run the ball, which they probably have not done enough so far.
Well, their first 3 possessions, punt, interception, punt. And Philadelphia with 3 touchdowns and a field goal on their 4. Kickoff taken at the goal line, and what a pop put on Ogletree as he gets up to the 19-yard line. And they are the very ugly for Dallas and beautiful for Philadelphia numbers. Almost 21 minutes of possession time for Philadelphia and 7 minutes for Dallas. That was Hakeem Jordan who put the lick on Ogletree. Dallas with 2 timeouts to try to get something on the board from the 19-yard line.
The only thing that's worked so far, DeMarco Murray, 4 rushes for 52 yards, but a little hard to imagine they're going to be able to hang with the run here.
No catches by Bryant, no catches by Austin, 2 by Robinson, 1 by Witten. And Murray's carried the ball 4 times for 52 yards. Romo, pass is incomplete. Nobody even close. Looks like Murray had trouble getting out of the backfield. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, and now you've allowed the Philadelphia Eagles to get into their pass rush mode. Now they're out there in that wide 9. Now your tackles are going to get attacked in a way that they haven't been attacked all season. This is exactly what the Eagles defensively have been waiting for. A game like this where they can really unleash this pass rush on these tackles.
And let's mention Juan Castillo. We talked so much about Rob Ryan, and of course he's a media magnet, but Castillo, the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, who's been under a lot of heat. So far, so good for him. And that pass is caught by Witten a little behind him. Catches it above his thigh. Tackled by Chaney. That'll be a 1st down, and they'll come up without a huddle. From the 30. With 1:17. He's stepping away, and that pass is behind Witten with a flag down.
Yeah, they had a wide out moving early on the play, not getting set, so the no huddle working against the Cowboys.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 men in motion without resetting. 5-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
Talked about Castillo. He was the offensive line coach. And then, of course, Jim Johnson passed away a couple of years ago. Sean McDermott took over for him for a couple of years. And then Andy Reid shocked everybody. And Castillo has had a lot of heat on him. But tonight, his troops pitching a shutout against the Dallas Cowboys. 1st and 15. And Romo goes down in the arms of Trent Cole. Strained calf, missed the last couple of games, and back with a sack tonight. Timeout.
Well, Trent Cole's going to get credit for this sack, but it was really the interior pressure that forces Tony Romo to run out into this sack. Really not so much of Doug Free's fault, but inside Montre Holland allows the early pressure, and Tony Romo had to bail.
And now Philadelphia is able to take a timeout. They want to conserve part of the clock at the end because it's going to be 2nd down and 24 for the Dallas Cowboys.
You know, the one thing now that you're getting into is now the Philadelphia Eagles can really pretty much do whatever they want defensively. And I think the big change, you talked about Juan Castillo and all the different things that he's brought. But remember, there was no offseason, so they had no time to talk about it. Jim Washburn was brought over, so he brought the wide 9. So you've got Juan Castillo, the former offensive line coach, really kind of teaching Jim Washburn's style of defense. So I guess no real shock that they got off to a slow start defensively.
And Babin here, mainly because Washburn came over from Tennessee, and Babin was a free agent. They give the ball to Murray, and Murray takes it to the 23-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and long, and the Eagles are going to take another timeout. I don't know how many of you have ever shaken hands with Adrian Peterson. If you do, be forewarned, you will go to your knees. So last night we see DeMarco Murray who was a freshman when Peterson was finishing his career as a junior and coming out for the draft at Oklahoma. And Murray will almost take you to your knees. Well, something about Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah, it was defensive, I think. You know, he kept shaking hands with Carl Peterson, so they had to adapt.
Speaking of Oklahoma running backs, take a look at that. Last week, 428 combined yards for these guys. Most by two players from the same college on the same day. AP and his Vikings with a win today over Carolina. Murray the big day last week, but tonight down 24-0. And the Eagles want to get the ball back with time. 3rd down and 17. Philly now out of timeouts. Murray again. And Murray will come up a little bit short of the first down. He gets it out to the 38. It'll be 4th down and 2. And Philadelphia cannot stop the clock. So Dallas can, well, what are they going to do here? On 4th and 2, they're going to go for it, maybe.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance. Well, maybe I'd be down this far.
They got up there and they said, wait, hold on a second. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Yeah, you got to think about the situation here. I mean, if you don't make it, you're going to get Philadelphia the ball. They're going to be in field goal range with a 10-yard gain, so they think better of it, which is it's the right thing to do. You got to do it this way. I was shocked when they came up to the line to begin with. So Dallas takes the timeout, leaving Philadelphia nothing on the other end unless Jackson winds up with the ball on the punt return. Follow the NFL while on the go. The NFL's mobile apps are all new for the 2011 season, which, by the way, is reaching about the halfway mark. NFL.com/mobile. End of October. Hard to believe. Week 8 out of week 17.
It's hard to believe what we're seeing tonight out of the Dallas Cowboys, too. I mean, this is a team that's been in every game. They've been competitive with some of the best teams in football week in and week out. The Eagles have just dominated.
Man, what happened? The Saints and the Colts showed up tonight. What's going on here? Jeremy Maclin is going to go back to accept the kick. And McBriar, end over end, 23-yard line, and Macklin's going to get to the outside. Boy, I tell you what, he turns that corner. He may have gone all the way. Bruce Carter just activated, the number 2 draft choice, makes the tackle, and Maclin is down. So Maclin takes a shot as the half ends, and that's about the only bad thing that's happened to Philadelphia in the first 30 minutes. It's been all Eagles. 24-0 Toyota halftime show coming right up. And thus at halftime, it's 24-0 Philadelphia. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia. Al Michaels, Cris Collingsworth, Michele Tafoya. Sunday night football. Cowboys offense. Tony Romo tonight. 4 completions, none to Bryant or Austin. Sacked 3 times. 94 total yards. And Philadelphia, of course, a complete other story with 324 yards. 20 first downs for Philadelphia. Put that in perspective. The NFL record in a game is 39 first downs. So they're on that pace at the moment. Dallas will take the ball to start the second half as Ogletree takes a knee in the end zone. They start from the 20.
Well, you're supposed to see Miles Austin and Des Bryant working on the outside, and so far it has been nothing but the Eagles corners getting it done. Des Bryant has had Nnamdi Asomugha when he's that way. Nowhere to go. Other side of Sante Samuel on Miles Austin. A little in and out coverage there. Nate Allen's taking him. Bert Coleman letting them know just how they've done so far here in the first half.
Cowboys start by going 3-by-1 to the right side, and the pass is a 4-yard gain. caught by Robinson, and we check in with Michele.
Well, just spoke with Jason Garrett. He acknowledged they haven't been able to get anything going offensively. They want to try to help to get more protection up front, keep Tony Romo untouched, and get the ball out more quickly. And still no update on linebacker Sean Lee. He has not emerged from the locker room. Still that sprained left wrist.
All right, thank you, Michele. Ball at the 25-yard line, 2nd down and 5. Murray swinging to the outside, but they'll bottle him up as he reaches the line of scrimmage and goes under a passel of green shirts. 3rd down.
Yeah, we've seen the Philadelphia Eagles tighten down their wide 9 now. They're not nearly as wide on the outside, and it's helping their linebackers inside get over the top. That time it was Jamar Chaney that was able to get over the top of that guard's block. There's just so much pressure on the inside linebackers and the safeties in that wide 9. And by tightening it down the last 2 games, they've really improved their run D.
3rd and 6 from the 24. And that's caught by Miles Austin. Now, you are going to explain the wide 9,
yeah,
right?
I'm sorry.
No, explain it.
Basically, all it is you take your 2 defensive ends and you split them about 3 or 4 yards wider on each side than what you ordinarily would do. Unfortunately, it puts big holes inside there for teams to run against you, and that's been the issue. The Philadelphia Eagles since then now have tightened it down a bit on rundowns, and they've been much more effective.
From the 37, here's Murray, and of course the 9 refers to a hole. You heard about a 3-technique tackle, which like 1 out of 100 people would know if you walk down the street.
Right.
So we always want to explain what the 9 hole is.
Absolutely, it's just the widest part of the field. Basically, think about if you were trying to play the sweeps or the pitches, you'd want to be as wide as possible, and Jim Washburn has had great success with that over the years in Tennessee. They brought it here, and there was a little learning curve, and they got hurt early.
Thank you, Professor. Love it. 2nd down and 9 with the ball at the 37-yard line. Soft little snap there, and that pass is incomplete.
Well, here's kind of what it looks like with their. You'll see on the outside, those 2 defensive ends get down and look like they're in the attack position, a little wider, about 5 yards on the outside. And then here's the adjustment. Now they're going to come down inside when you bring those tight ends in there, and makes it much easier to stuff those off-tackle holes and doesn't allow your linebackers and safeties to get free runners coming down on them in 5-yard wide holes.
3rd and 9. And that's incomplete. Witten looks for a flag. There is none. Vasilio Hansen breaks the play up, and it's 4th down.
A little in and out coverage that time, and now the Eagles are starting to look like something. You get the cross. So Joselio Hansen on the outside is going to take Jason Witten, and Nnamdi Asomugha on the inside take the inside release. And so far, because Tony Romo is having to get rid of the ball so quickly, nothing is developing down the field.
More bad news for the Cowboys. This is Dan Bailey, who's the place kicker, who has to punt. As we chronicled what the problem is with McBriar and his plant foot, and it's fair caught by Jackson. Philadelphia with the ball and a 24-0 advantage. Eagles have a roll of honor. This was the ceremony a few minutes ago at halftime. Eric Allen, part of the roll of honor, was the great cornerback for the Eagles between 88 and 94, had 34 interceptions, tied with Bill Bradley for the all-time lead. And there is Vicki Johnson, the widow of the late Jim Johnson, the defensive coordinator for a decade here, and just one of the truly great gentlemen, great guys, and a phenomenal assistant coach. I always thought he and Dick LeBeau were like the best of the assistants, and Jim part of the roll of honor. 1st down for the Eagles now from the 24-yard line. They've scored on all possessions. And Vic begins this drive with a pass that's caught by Macklin. We saw him go down after the punt return at the end of the 1st half, but he got right back up as we went to commercial. And Macklin continues his night with his 3rd catch, good for 54 yards total.
Well, one of the things they were worried about was DeMarcus Ware, and he's the guy they felt like they could just wreck the game for him. So that time you see 2 tight ends over there to help against him. He can't get inside. It's too far to run around. And somebody else now for the Cowboys has to step up defensively and start getting some pressure to open up opportunities for Ware.
That was an 18-yard gain. The fake to McCoy buys time for Vick, and that pass is off the hands of Selleck, who got free. Newman late on the coverage on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, Ware did a good job that time. He saw the backside tight end coming across the formation and didn't allow him to get out. But again, those crossing routes in behind these linebackers is what's getting it done. Here's where it goes, but you'll see Ware on the end of the line of scrimmage get Clay Harbor, but they simply have been unable to get their linebackers to those crossing routes tonight.
On 2nd and 10. McCoy busting tackles, springing to the outside to the 45-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. And McCoy goes up and over 100 yards tonight. That gives him 108 on 14 carries.
Well, Keith Brookings having a tough night in pass defense, and now is getting a little bit ugly in the run defense. Watch right here. There's no way he should be missing that tackle. But LaShawn McCoy now is just eating alive what was the top-ranked run defense in the NFL. Boy, what a year he's had.
Oh, tremendous. 400-yard rushing games for him. He's also a great receiver as well. And this time it's Ronnie Brown with the carry. You know, the thing about McCoy, when you think about him, I mean, you're thinking about coming into the season guys like Chris Johnson and Adrian Peterson, of course, and you go through last season and the first half of this year and what he's done in the first half of games and what he's done in the second half. So it's almost as if he gets stronger as the game goes on. But he's a guy, I mean, you're not thinking of him in terms of Peterson or Johnson before the season, but it's time to start thinking of him in those terms.
A lot of people you have to cover on this Eagles offense.
2nd and 6. And Vick swinging to the outside, seeking that first down, and comes very close. Hurdles some equipment on the far side. Appears to be just a little short of the first down. They'll take a look.
Watch Todd Harriman's here on the end. He's a guard, moved to tackle, doing a great job there. And then inside it was Jason Kelsey, the center, working against Ratliff. And man, I tell you, that's a battle going on inside. And so far, Kelsey is winning that. We've seen very little pressure out of Jay Ratliff. And the young, speedy center, Jason Kelsey, has been getting it done.
Ratliff bench. Love that shot of Howard Mudd. There's McCoy on a 3rd and 1, who will move the chains as the Eagles have a first down at the 33-yard line.
I tell you, LaShawn McCoy was really excited about having Howard Mudd here, and he said that the one big difference that we've been doing this season is we're getting people up on the next level, on the linebackers. Instead of spending so much time on the double team, they're getting initial contact, but getting up on the next level, which when we break the line of scrimmage is allowing me to get some big runs. He also talked about the use of the Indianapolis Colts stretch play that's been so effective, and we've already talked about the sprint draw. So some nice additions to this Eagles offense.
4 receivers spring out from the left side, and that pass is caught. Going over the middle is Deshaun Jackson, and Jackson running across the formation, chased by Scandrick, and a first down.
You see the 4 receiver overload, and basically they do this so you can't play bump and run. How in the world are you going to match up on this thing? And ultimately somebody, this time Deshaun Jackson coming across the formation, just springs free. So that bunch formation is used to keep teams off of the bump and run, and that time Deshaun Jackson made it work.
Ball at the 19-yard line. A little over 8 to play in the 3rd. They run a draw to McCoy, and that time it's DeMarcus Ware who makes the stop. One of the rare times we've mentioned his name tonight.
Well, you saw Todd Harriman try and step out to influence DeMarcus Ware, but Ware had seen enough. He's going to shuffle out here. And Ware said, I've seen this sprint draw one too many times. I'm just going to go ahead, and you want to bounce it outside of me, go ahead, but I'm coming in here to make the tackle. The Eagles were really impressed with DeMarcus Ware and his discipline in the defense. Not only one of the greatest players, but just never really puts his defense at risk. Very sound.
Vick on a 2nd and 12 screen. McCoy gets a block. First down, 1st and goal. To the 5 goes McCoy.
Well, they've got a couple of new wrinkles in off of this sprint draw look. That's been the run that's been so effective for them. So they wanted to put in a couple of wrinkles this week, and the screen pass one of those. Very seldom do you play fake one way and then throw the screen that way. But because of that play's effectiveness and because of that young man's ability to run, LaShawn McCoy, seems like everything's working.
He blocked by the rookie center Kelsey. Ronnie Brown now comes in as the running back out of the eye. There's Vick on a 1st and goal. Going to the outside, and then Jackson was looking upfield, and the Dallas Cowboys think that they've recovered. There's been no sign yet from the officials.
It's not even close. It's incomplete.
It has to be. I mean, the only way it wouldn't be is if the pass was behind the line of scrimmage. And then finally the officials come in to rule incomplete. Line of scrimmage is the 5. And Vick is well behind the line as he throws it from the 11. It's a forward pass.
Yeah, the ball got tipped there by Spencer.
The field is a backward pass. 2nd down, Philadelphia.
No. Yeah, he meant forward pass, not backwards pass.
Right.
The crowd's giving Gene Steratore a little opinion.
Well, if they're going to rule it an incomplete pass, then the line of scrimmage should be the 5-yard line again. For the moment, they've just spotted the ball at the 17. Thus, you've got the conference here.
Yeah, this is messed up.
I think misspoke and misplaced would be what happened here.
The ruling on the field is that it was a backward pass. Dallas has recovered the football. 1st down, Dallas.
Wow. Well,
that won't take long.
No, I mean, here we go again. So
loosen up your arm there, Andy.
Andy's going, are you kidding me? They'll throw the flag and they'll win the challenge. Unless we're out of our minds, which we may be.
Yeah.
That's another story. So the ruling on the field was that it was a backward pass. Pass tip. The tip has nothing to do with it. So the pass was clearly from the 11-yard line to about the 8. And here comes Steratore.
With an oops.
With a sorry.
After review, it was a forward pass. It will be incomplete. It will be Philadelphia's ball. 2nd and goal on the 5-yard line. The ball will be placed in the middle of the field. Philadelphia is not charged with the timeout. And because Philadelphia has had 2 successful challenges this evening, they will be entitled to a 3rd. Would the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 6 minutes, 45 seconds. 6:45 on the game clock, please.
So there's the tip. The tip has nothing to do with it. Vick is throwing from the 11-yard line to the 8. So a strange ruling, but does no damage and gives us a commercial break opportunity. What can I tell you?
I think Rob Ryan would like a break opportunity here.
Baby.
This is not how this one was supposed to go, especially in light of some of his comments. And Deshaun Jackson did not take kindly to those. He said, hey, you want to play in the game and come out here and do battle, say what you want, but sitting over there, you don't have the right.
2nd down and goal. And McCoy, he's going to get stopped in his tracks in the backfield. That's Abram Elam. Came over from Cleveland. Played for Ryan there last year.
Abram Elam coming off of a huge game, had 3 tackles behind the line of scrimmage in their last one against the Rams, and he really has been in many ways the keys to this defense. He understood Rob Ryan's defense in a way other people did not, playing for him in Cleveland, and lately he has stepped up and made some really big plays.
Bringing over an assistant helping to explain the defense. He and Kenyon Coleman, 3rd down and goal from the 8. Here comes time, and it's knocked away at the goal line, intended for Selleck, and it's Frank Walker who bats it down, 4th down, and they'll have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Well, you really have to stay on your game when you're talking about the Cowboys defense, because they play everybody in the lineup, and Frank Walker is a guy that has special packages and they bring him in. But really, if you're on the defensive squad, you are going to play in the game. It's pretty unusual how deep the Cowboys go, but it's been successful until they got here tonight.
26-yard attempt for Henry, and his 2nd field goal of the night goes through to make the score Philadelphia 27, Dallas Zilch. Sunday Night Football from Philly, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. It's always fresh in the Outback. By Hyundai, that's fuel efficient and stylish. It's probably a Hyundai. By Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go. And by Happy Feet 2 from Warner Brothers Pictures and Theaters, November the 18th. Friday night, LaSalle High School, 28 unanswered points, beating St. Joseph Prep. Skylar Morningweg is the quarterback for St. Joe's Prep, and that is the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, one-time head coach of the Detroit Lions. Skylar's already committed to Penn State. Marty and his group having a big night. Well, it might be the best rivalry in the league at the moment. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh next Sunday night. Ravens Steelers. It all starts with football night at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Of course, through the years, Dallas and Philadelphia, one of the great rivalries, some phenomenal games, but tonight it's been all Eagles. Dallas starts this drive from the 20-yard line. Romo, and that pass is incomplete. Intended for Witt. Let's go to Michele.
Well, Al, you mentioned we are headed to Pittsburgh next week. I think tomorrow is Halloween. And speaking of Pittsburgh and Halloween, let's preview your Halloween costumes
there you go.
Come on.
for tomorrow.
There you go.
I like that a lot. Well,
oh, that's worse.
Are you going to share? No. Clearly, Chris's is longer.
That couldn't even make a Head and Shoulders commercial there. That's awful.
I thought we bought our way out of that.
Oh, my gosh. Thought the game was bad.
Look at frightening. 2nd down, and that pass is incomplete. NFC East, it's a movable feast. Let's talk about it at the moment. Giants up, but a tough schedule ahead. Philly, thumbs up right now. Dallas like this, and Washington like this. And every week it's a changeable situation.
Yeah, and if you looked at the schedules remaining, you would give the Dallas Cowboys a big advantage until you watch this tonight, and then it's impossible to give the Cowboys any advantage because they've just been so thoroughly whipped.
3rd and 10. Eagles stay home, meet Chicago next Monday. Dallas goes home to face Seattle in Arlington next week. To the outside to Witten, and Witten escapes a tackle. The first man through does not get him, and then he gets taken down by Hansen after Asamoah couldn't make the stop, but that makes it 4th down and 8.
Well, we're starting to see some little different wrinkles now. Nnamdi Asamoah in the middle of the field in kind of a spy situation. So Romo just checks it down. Asamoah misses the tackle, but really it didn't matter. He had plenty of help coming from the backside. But right now the Eagles just look like the way that we all thought maybe they would when they signed all that talent.
And once again, Bailey, the place kicker, forced the punt with McBriar hurt. And a little bouncing ball fielded by Macklin to the 42-yard line. 27-0 on Halloween Eve. hockey this week coming up on Versus. Tomorrow night, it's the Rangers against the Sharks. The Ducks take on the Capitals on Tuesday. And then the Philadelphia Flyers in action against Buffalo on Wednesday. NHL hockey all this week on Versus. Crossing the Delaware River and back to Lincoln Financial Field. Eagles have it at the 42-yard line. 392 yards for the Eagles and 114 for Dallas. And Vick, it's taken that from behind, and the ball is loose. DeMarcus Ware with the strip and the sack, but it looks like the Eagles have been able to recover, and they have, back at the 33-yard line.
Well, they tried to go with a quick pass that time, and because the coverage was so good, it really left Harriman's on an island out here. They have not left him alone with a one-on-one block all night, but that was one of those three-step drops, get the ball out quick. Vick tries to scramble, and there's one of those plays that the Eagles were worried about. Fortunately for the Eagles, they got there. Tried to do the quick hitch on the outside. Newman had him covered. Vick had to pull it down.
A trio of sacks now for Ware, and there's a huge hole for McCoy. So no big deal. Second down and 18, and give it to LaShawn McCoy for 22 yards.
All right, you want to get sacks against our guys here, we're going to come with a trap on the other side. So every time that the Cowboys come up with a play, the Eagles come right back with the counter and have a huge run by LaShawn McCoy.
LaShawn McCoy, third year, drafted in the second round, played at Pittsburgh. Jenkins is hurt, so the Dallas corner comes out. McCoy's now rushing for 128 yards, and a couple of more here to the 41-yard line.
Well, we've had a good time watching him tonight. We hope you have too. LaShawn McCoy, watch some of these moves. I mean, you know, that's Barry Sanders, the old back up and accelerate around the outside, an ankle breaker on Terrence Newman there. Going to run around Keith Brooking on this one. If you have one criticism of him tonight, he is pretty loose with that football. He's running with it, swinging out there. But boy, with those numbers, hard to criticize him very much at all.
145 yards from scrimmage and movement by Selleck on the right side. Meanwhile, we saw Harriman's.
False start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Harriman's who recovered that fumble. Todd has kind of been, what, the Swiss Army knife of offensive linemen?
Well, I called him a tool in our meeting, and he goes, "You can't, that's not nice. You can't, that's an insult." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you." But he's moved all over the place, wherever they needed him. He started at guard, he moved to right tackle, and he moved to left tackle when Jason Peters got hurt. But to have that kind of flexibility with one guy in your offensive line is really what kept the Eagles in it.
The most valuable Eagles clearly as McCoy dances again and gets down to the 37-yard line.
You know, the other thing that Harriman's talked about is Jenkins still working on some kind of an issue over there on the sideline. The other thing Harriman's talked about was how much he enjoyed playing for Howard Mudd. Here's Mike Jenkins on the outside grabbing what appears to be a hamstring. We'll give you more of a report when we get it.
That is the word from the bench at the moment. 3rd down and 3. And Vick stepping away. Always dangerous. Flag down. To the ball on the first down. But Gene Steratore indicates it will be a hold.
Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
You know, we were talking about Howard Mudd, and look here at the line.
Jason Kelce really left completely on an island as his guards split, and as Jay Ratliff got around him, may have gotten a little hold. Not too much of one, though. Howard Mudd has done a nice job here, though, hasn't he? Really, they love him here, too. Even the young kids. LaShawn McCoy, he talked about just how much he enjoys just talking to him. He makes fun of us all the time for wearing our hats sideways and hip-hop music where they just banter back and forth and just laugh out loud when they're together.
If you called Central Casting and said, send me an offensive line coach for a movie, they couldn't send you anybody that good. 3rd and 13. Selleck. And Selleck very close to getting the first down. Everything working. Ball a little short of the yellow line.
Fourth down. Here's pregame. Watch LaShawn McCoy. Coming off of hip surgery this week. Howard might, what the heck? I got one good one.
Mudd had retired. And when Castillo was going to be made the defensive coordinator, Andy Reid gave him a call at Sun City in Arizona. And on 4th and 1, they give it to McCoy. And McCoy stumbles in the backfield. We'll see where the forward progress is. And they're going to spot the ball at a spot where they're going to give him a first down. Just to finish the Mudd story, he got a call, and Howard's wife said the minute he hung up, he offered you the job, didn't he? You got to take it. Back he comes. End of the quarter in Philadelphia. Happy night for Howard. Happy night for the Eagles. 27-0. And NBC's Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Downtown Philadelphia tonight. Aerial coverage being brought to you by Geico. Al Michaels, Cris Collingsworth, and Michele Tafoya start the 4th quarter. Critical game for the Eagles coming in.
Who've played like it.
All right. And the Cowboys, big game for them, and they're going to, in all likelihood, limp back to Texas. A game under 500. And time with the Eagles, who start the 4th quarter with this pass to Clay Harbor. And that'll be a first down to the 21-yard line and down to the field again to Michele.
Yeah, Al, some will be really limping back to Texas. Cornerback Mike Jenkins has out now with a hamstring. He's gone to the locker room. Linebacker Sean Lee with that sprained left wrist. He's done for the night. They considered putting a cast on it and bringing him back in, but have decided not to. And punter Matt McBriar re-aggravated that left foot, which is why he is not back, and Dan Bailey is handling the punts.
Thank you, Michele. Lots of issues for Jason Garrett to contend with as they get ready for the Seahawks in Arlington next Sunday. Quick, all night to throw, and that is Selleck who makes the catch. And they'll spot the ball a little bit short of the first down.
Well, the story of this game is that basically the Cowboys have decided they're going to play 2 deep safeties and take away these outside receivers. What they've done in return is leave the middle of the field wide open and lack safety support in the run game. So they've been gouged in the run game and beaten over the middle in the passing game. And Mike Vick, to his credit, never lost patience. He has said, that's fine. You want to take those 2 guys away outside? We're just going to beat you to death with our inside passing game and run the football.
It's a good point, because who would have thought, with Macklin and Jackson having very run-of-the-mill ordinary nights, that the Eagles would have 28 first downs, 452 yards, and a 27-0 lead. Timeout. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Allstate. Shop less, get more. By Verizon 4G LTE, America's fastest, most reliable 4G network. By Jack and Jill, starring Adam Sandler, in theaters November 11th, rated PG. And by the all-new Volkswagen Passat. That's Das Auto. Come on in. You scared?
Thank you, no. There we go. That's got a costume I like.
Now we're talking. Nightmare night for the Cowboys. 2nd down and 1. After the Philly timeout.
Now Vick sees him come down with the safety, kills this, and goes run.
McCoy. The real McCoy. Touchdown. Rob Ryan hasn't had too many nights like this in his career. Jerry Jones, well, one of those nights.
Gerald Sensabaugh is going to sneak down. Vic sees it, goes kill. They had a pass play call, which means now we're going to go to the run. Out position them to the outside. Good blocking by the receivers. And walk it in. It's amazing what this Eagles offense looks like when they don't turn the ball over. They've been nearly flawless tonight. Careful, don't hurt that man.
I wonder what Howard's doctor is thinking about now. 6 drives for the Eagles tonight. 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals. It's a rock.
Oh, don't land on him.
34-0. This afternoon, Baltimore was down by 21 points, 24-3, rallied in the second half, beat Arizona. And Ben Roethlisberger was 36 out of 50 to 365 against that New England defense. Steelers win 25-17, setting up Baltimore at Pittsburgh next week on Sunday Night Football. Ogletree out to the 24-yard line. After the touchdown, Ware and Ryan. I don't know if the answer to you.
Let's call it open and honest communication. And this is one of those you go back and you throw this tape in the garbage can because the plan failed. Physically, they got whipped. And the Eagles may still be the team to beat in this division.
It's so funny. I'm laughing as the pass is caught by Robinson. The Eagle fans 3 weeks ago needed collective intense therapy. They opened with a win at St. Louis. They lost 4 games in a row. They went belly up to San Francisco along the way. Had a horrible finish to the game in Buffalo. Everybody's going, what's going on? 2nd and 4. And Romo finally hits a man who's wide open, and that's Robinson. And Laurent Robinson gets into the end zone on a 70-yard catch and run.
Well, that was all Tony Romo right there. He gets outside, steps up in the pocket, and does a little shoulder shrug that gets Kirk Coleman, the safety, to come up and play Robinson, and then Robinson sneaks in behind him, and he gets it right over his head. Watch this little, there you go. That was all it took. Coleman thought he had an interception. He had 3 last week, but he gets burned on this one, and Robinson spikes this one at the end, and the crowd gave him a little look at the scoreboard, big guy.
So Robinson, the September pickup, wasn't with the team on opening night, has caught 5 passes tonight, while Austin's caught only 1 and Bryant's caught none. Now Romo has to hold because McBriar is hurt and Bailey's extra point is good. We all remember Tony in Seattle, the night he'd like to forget. 34-7. Wednesday night on NBC, Up All Night with Christina Applegate, Will Arnett, and Maya Rudolph. Up All Night, Wednesday night, right here on NBC. City of brotherly love. It's chilly, 42 degrees, at least at game time, Sunday night after a lot of snow yesterday. And it'll be downed in the end zone by Ronnie Brown. So the frustrations of a team that's getting whipped like this, 34-7. Bryant, and then there's Austin with his back to you, and that's all you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys tonight. .12:44 remaining. Philadelphia leading 34-7. The Eagles tonight, 6 possessions. All of them have resulted in points. Cowboys just got on the board for the first time, a 27-point differential with the Eagles at their own 20-yard line. And that high pass is caught by Jason Devont for a gain of 6. Andy Reid, and it's been a story here for a long time. Longest tenured coach now in the league, 13 years. Got the job in '99. Had been an assistant at Green Bay before that. But take a look at that. Weather gets colder, and Andy's teams get hotter.
Yeah, maybe it shouldn't be a big surprise. I mean, they've started the last 5 years 5-6, 5-8, 5-5-1, 5-4, and 4-3, and they've made the playoffs all but 1 year.
Jeffrey Lurie hiring him in '99. And after the 31-yard line with McCoy, you talk about, well, the Steelers have had so much stability, of course, with Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher, now to Mike Tomlin. It looks like he'll be there a long time. And then you look at the Eagles. When Jeffrey Lurie bought the team in the early '90s, he inherited Rich Kotite and knew he had to make a change. So he went to Ray Rhodes. He got 4 years out of Rhodes, got him to the playoffs a couple of times, and then went with Andy Reid in '99. Very solid, very steady.
And I don't think Andy Reid's going anywhere. There was a lot of conversation amongst the fans. Is it time for him? You talk to people in this organization, and they almost laugh at you. You're kidding me? He's a great coach.
From the 32, and this is Jason Avant making the catch to the 38-yard line. Again, that NFC East. And where it's shaping up, the Giants with a very tough slate ahead, but they win today to go to 5-2. Dallas on its way to going to 3-4. Redskins are already there, and Philadelphia would be 3-4 as well. So the Giants at the end of the night would have a 2-game lead over all three opponents.
The Giants have a tough schedule, but so do the people that have to play the Giants when they get their pass rush going like what they had today.
2nd and 4. Boy, you know, Vic was talking to us in Atlanta when we had him the last time, and reiterated the other day how much he wants to win for Andy Reid. Of course, Michael, a complicated story, and the legacy will be forever intertwined with all that happened away from football. But he said, I love this man. He has been phenomenal for me, not only as a football coach, but as a mentor and as a man. I just want to win for him.
He always talks about him in such glowing terms. It almost takes you back. But he just said that this guy, the way he motivates us day after day after day, he said, I've been around football a long time. There's only a handful of people I've ever met that can do that.
And down he goes in the arms of DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Ware tonight, I mean, that's the most silent 4 sacks I've ever seen.
Yeah, and DeMarcus Ware is continuing now to do exactly what he's done throughout the course of his career. I think that now puts him at double-digit sacks again this season, which puts him on sort of a Hall of Fame pace. You look at the guys that have done that, the number of years that DeMarcus Ware has, and those guys are all in the Hall of Fame.
12 sacks for him now, including 4 tonight for the season. 6 years in double digits. First punt of the night. This is Chaz Henry, one of their 2 rookie kickers who finally sees some action. Collected by Ogletree at the 31-yard line. Spinning away, and Ogletree will get the ball into Philadelphia territory and gets bumped down by the punter. 9 minutes remaining in the fourth. 34-7 Eagles. About his career, DeMarcus Ware averaging a little better than a sack per game against the Eagles. 4 of them tonight.
You couldn't have imagined that he would have 4 sacks and the score would be what it is.
He'd have 4 sacks, and Macklin and Jackson would have the nights they're having, very ordinary, and it would be 34-7 Philadelphia.
Give credit to Vic.
No question. From the 44. Low pass, and it hits the ground.
I'll tell you the one thing that Mike Vick talks about, he was sort of laughing about it. He said, I hated training camp this year. So I'm over there, and they're constantly making me working on protections and reading defenses, and all I want to do is go out there and have some fun and play football. And it was just such a mental exercise. And Marty Morningwig and Andy Reid are just relentless on me. There's Marty right there going over the cards and exactly what's happening out there. But it pays off on nights like this when they were given the same look, and Vic was able to take advantage all night.
2nd and 10, and again, they keep having those snap issues. He gets the pass away, and that's caught by Murray for a loss. And all season long, the Cowboys, especially out of that shotgun, having snap problems.
Yeah, 4 fumbles on the year by Phil Costa. There's part of the reason why Romo went up and got that one. Of course, Cowboys had to get much younger on the offensive line. Gerard, Davis, Colombo, all gone now.
3rd and 12. Romo, he throws that intended for Murray, and it winds up hitting the back of Cheney covering on the play. Romo was very close to coming across the line of scrimmage as he threw it anyway. 4th down.
I'll tell you, I really like the play of Jamar Cheney. This is a guy that's a strong side linebacker that got moved to the inside out of necessity. They just didn't get the production out of Casey Matthews. He's really more of that cover linebacker, and tonight you've seen that, but he's also stood in there against the run, so good performance by him.
4th and 12. Dallas going for it, down by 27. And Romo throws, and it'll be caught by Witten, and we'll see where they spot this. He stays in bounds. 1st down. So signaled, covered by Nate Allen.
Well, we're seeing Nnamdi Asomugha moving around. He's a bigger body and working against the tight end, Jason Witten. Really pretty good coverage, but just a better throw that time by Tony Romo. I think that with Asomugha working inside, almost like a Charles Woodson kind of a role, it's made this Eagles team better.
Tony spins away, takes off, and he'll slide to a stop after a gain of 9 yards. Tony Romo got married in the off season, and then the other day he and a couple of guys are dressing some students at a high school, and one of the kids said, "You have any kids?" He said, "Nope, but there's one on the way," and that was the official announcement. It'll be a boy in April. 2nd and 1. The catch is made on the outside by Miles Austin, taken down at the 16-yard line.
Well, one thing that we've seen on a positive note tonight, Tyron Smith, the young rookie tackle, his footwork has improved so much this year. That time he just buried Babin on the outside. We saw him in the preseason. It was like, oh my gosh, this guy has no idea what he's doing, but he has cleaned it up.
Big give on the inside, and then it's Witten in traffic at the goal line, incomplete. Covered by Kurt Coleman, the safety, 2nd down.
Yeah, it's interesting. These 2 safeties for the Philadelphia Eagles have both been benched at one time this year, but Kurt Coleman and Nate Allen combined for 4 interceptions last week, and of course, this week they've done a number on the Cowboys receiver. So a big step up on the outside, but now these $1 million corners on the outside are being asked to play much more man-to-man, play the role that everybody thought they'd be playing, and it's paying dividends.
Multi-million-dollar corners.
Multi.
2nd and 10. And that catch is made by Dez Bryant, who finally gets into the action. His first catch of the night, good for 13 yards.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Dez Bryant, who's finally healthy after that thigh injury. And Dez Bryant was over there lobbying for the ball on the sideline, finally got one.
1st and goal.
Now you get Nnamdi for your trouble.
And Romo throws that one out of the end zone. 2nd down and goal.
Not sure exactly what Dez was doing there. He kind of just stood on the line of scrimmage. Maybe it was some sort of pick or something, but he didn't get the snap count. He just stood there. I don't know. Watch this. Ball snapped. Nope, you're not going to be able to see it. Oh, he's looking out to tell the official that he's off the line of scrimmage and missed the snap count. Straight man coverage on the outside. See if Romo wants to take a shot.
Before he can, his action along the line. False start or encroachment?
Well, Jenkins crossed the line, but did the lineman flinch? That's the only question. First.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense. Number 97. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Second down.
Jenkins first.
And here. No flinch, and then Kozar makes the right play of jumping in place. But I tell you, Jenkins' inside pressure has been key for the Eagles. 5 sacks. That's pretty good for an interior guy.
Second down, goal from the 2. And that pass incomplete, and there's confusion as to who was running what. You had Witten and Robinson both in the same neighborhood. Yeah. 3rd and goal.
And Robinson really messes this up. It's a pick play in which Jason Witten's going to the outside, and Robinson's supposed to come underneath him, but instead he ends up going over the top of Witten and basically, it's not so good. What are you doing?
That kind of night. 3rd down and goal. Here come the Eagles, and the pass is Bryant. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. On someone.
Arm hard. Yes, he did. Des, you're dead on right. But the old vet got him. Watch the arm now. Nnamdi Asomugha. He's going to hook that inside arm, and he couldn't get it free. Begging for a call. Right there, had the jersey.
And the one official is 2 yards away. And the rookie loses his case. Cowboys line up to go for it on 4th and goal with 6:12 to play.
Same matchup. You got it if you're on one.
And Romo under pressure down at the 5-yard line. And they'll turn it over on downs. And that's the way that Cowboy drive ends.
Well, that time's a heck of a call by Juan Castillo. They're going to drop underneath this slant. Romo wanted it that side. He got a little surprised by the coverage. And then the pressure inside by Mike Patterson got there. See, they just changed it up. Jumped the outside, ran the safety underneath. Nice job defensively. You kind of get the feeling that Juan Castillo is starting to get the hang of this defensive coordinator thing.
Sack credited to Babin. That's his 2nd of the night. Came in with 7. So he's on his way to double digits. And his return to Philadelphia, he'd been here a few years ago. Well,
Tony Romo wanted to pick up where Des Bryant left off.
And here's McCoy swinging to the outside. He'll tack on a few more yards to another tremendous performance for LaShawn McCoy. Out to the 12-yard line he goes. He's carried the ball 25 times for 171 yards. Vic tonight, 75%. McCoy averaging almost 7 yards per carry. And Selleck with 7 receptions and a touchdown.
Well, you can see what was happening. The Cowboys thought they could stop the running game. And as long as the outside guys didn't hit them for big plays, they were going to win. Didn't happen that way.
2nd and 3. McCoy still fighting. Just a little short of the 1st down.
Well, we've seen some magical moves by LaShawn McCoy tonight. Starts inside and then is going to bounce it not only outside but backwards and outside. And I think Keith Brookings seen just about enough of that act. Every time he thinks he has him sized up, he ends up escaping. Marcus Ware limping around might have a little bit of an issue himself.
Ware with his 4 sacks tonight. In position to, as he did last year, lead the league.
I think he's still a half sack behind Jared Allen right now.
At
so
the moment.
Tell you, at the pace they're on, though, might see Strahan's sack record in jeopardy this year. Maybe 2 guys with a shot.
Time for Michael to get a little nervous.
I don't think Michael gets too nervous about anything. Dude. He's got a pretty good life right now.
I'd say. That's a nice record to have.
Yep.
Third down entries.
No. Come on, Todd.
And McCoy to the 18-yard line. With 4.5 to go, most consecutive seasons, 10 or more sacks. Quite a group. Reggie White here for a lot of years. John Randall of the Vikings. LT between 84 and 90. Bruce Smith. So you got a bunch of guys with busts in Canton. And now Ware with 6 straight seasons.
Yeah, Ware's led the NFL in sacks 2 of the last 3 years. So clearly one of the game's superstars, if not the best defensive player out there, one of the best.
Beating McCoy again. To the 19. You know, if we ever have a bye week, I want to spend it with Andy Reid. Decided. I don't know what goes on during bye weeks. Well, they rejuvenate themselves, the players do. Andy has a second home out in California, so he went out there for about 3 days just to get refreshed. Michael Vick played some golf and bought a parrot.
Right.
A non-talking parrot.
Right. But they did spend about 3 or 4 days here studying themselves. They weren't game planning against the Cowboys. They studied their own tendencies. And Andy was telling us that he learned a few things about this football team that obviously helped here tonight.
2nd and 9. Reid's going to be 13-0 coming off bye weeks in his career.
You know, it's interesting, and we were talking about, you know, they have a mandated number of days now that they have to give the players in the bye week. But that's what Andy always did. He always gave them an entire Monday to Monday off. And whatever he's done, it's worked. Well, it looks like Jay Ratliff is dinged up a bit.
Still down on one knee. Well, look at this. Coming into the game, 69.7 yards in rushing per game tonight, 233. The Cowboys were doing this on the fly. Would have gone from 1st to 4th in this one night in a rushing defense, thanks mainly to LaShawn McCoy and the guys up front.
You know, it's interesting on the other side, DeMarco Murray, who had the 253 yards last week, had 74 yards on just 8 carries. They just couldn't get to the weakness of the Philadelphia Eagles because they were so far behind.
Behind early. Eagles took the opening kickoff, marched down the field, got the ball back, went down the field. I mean, just like that, it's 14-0. It was 21-0 quickly. Ratliff will now join the list of those who have hobbled off, including Jenkins and McBriar and Lee. And we'll look again.
See if Ratliff gets a little friendly fire there. Couldn't really see. Brady James gave him a shot with his arm when he was coming through, but clearly Jay Ratliff was struggling to get off the field.
Well, you look at the fan base now in this division. Folks in New York, they're happy with the Giants, but they know they got a rough road ahead. People in Dallas are going, wait a minute, what's going on with this team? What happened? Washington, good start. Now all of a sudden they get shut out today by Buffalo, and for the moment all is well and good in Philadelphia. Wait till next week. It's kind of division.
And the Rams beat the Saints, so who knows anything anymore?
Nobody knows anything. You know that.
Second charge timeout, Philadelphia. 30-second timeout.
Jason Peters, the left tackle, coming back tonight for Philadelphia. Big night.
Huge night, really, and it makes such a difference. You'll see Jason just wiping down the side of the line. Look at the hole. I mean, no offense to LaShawn McCoy, but a lot of people could run through that hole. And then he's out in front, gets the block on Jenkins in the open field. I was asking people to try and describe him. Todd Harriman says he's a halfback who's 350 pounds. He just happens to play tackle. And boy, it really looks different. There we go. Boy, we'll do anything. We get this late in the game.
Your uncle?
Clearly.
And this is McCoy taking it out to the 26-yard line and taking us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes until the Eagles win their second straight and go to 3-4 in as big an October game as a team can face. Come up Roses, 34-7. That's certainly off the Steelers at this point. Wendy's post-game report. Michele from the field. Bob, Tony, and Mike wrapping up this one, and we will take a preview look at what we've got for you next Sunday night from Heinz Field. Chaz Henry with the Eagles punt. Kevin Ogletree loses the ball out of bounds. It was right there with the gyrations. And Dallas with the ball. Pro Football Talk, the best analysis about the NFL and its players. Mike Florio right there. Pro Bowl balloting has begun. Send your favorite players to the 2012 Pro Bowl back in Hawaii, where it should always be. Vote at NFL.com/Pro Bowl or text Pro Bowl to MyNFL. Of course it should be there.
Absolutely. Little Andy
Players
Reid look
love it.
there.
Yep.
His golden mustache. A lot of tricks, not many treats for the Cowboys here.
Oof.
It's been pretty rough.
Nightmare on Broad Street. Pass incomplete. Andy Reid, well, he's been around a long time, and he's faced the Cowboys twice a year during his 12.5 seasons at the helm. So he's 16-9, not counting tonight. It'll go to 17-9. It'll be the most wins. I guess it does count. We've already given it to him. How about that? The guys are ahead of me. We're gonna give this one to Andy.
Where's Brian Williams? We're
That's right. We needed Brian to sign
election
off.
night coverage here.
Right.
But one time that didn't work out so well.
Yeah, even the voting from Texas is now coming in. 2nd down and 10. And it's the most wins by any coach over the Dallas Cowboys. These two teams meeting since the Cowboys came into the National Football League in 1960.
You want to keep a job in Philadelphia, beat the Cowboys on a regular basis.
And take care of the Giants and the Redskins once in a while, too.
Tell you what, that Giants game is going to be big.
We've got that in 3 weeks on Sunday night. And the catch is made by Tanner. So the Cowboys tonight going with the 2 rookie running backs, but really didn't have a chance to do anything. And McCoy still
he wants a workout. He's like, that was easy tonight. I'm going to break a little sweat over here on the bike.
Ripped jersey, the whole thing, grass stains all over the place. He's going back to the gym. The great Howard Mudd. Years ago, a great offensive lineman with the San Francisco 49ers and a longtime coach in the NFL. Those offensive line coaches they're a cult of their own, aren't they?
They really are, but boy, what a difference they make. And one of the changes that Howard brought here was he wanted his tackles to set a little wider, to attack a little bit more on the outside and not sink back into Mike Vick, so that those guys would have a chance to miss early if they were going to miss. But if they make contact, now all of a sudden the pocket is much wider. Mike Vick has room to step up and running lanes to run if he desires them. Todd Harriman was just thrilled to be working with a guy who used to play offensive line. He says it just makes a huge difference.
2nd and 10, that's Bryant. Mudd most recently coached at Indianapolis, and remember, Indy made some changes on the coaching staff. Tom Moore gone, Howard Mudd gone. And we all know about the Colts this season. Meanwhile, Juan Castillo as a defensive coordinator, a night to remember for him.
Absolutely. On Jim Johnson night, where they put him in the Ring of Honor or whatever it's called here, it's nice to not have that happen and you lay an egg. He is getting it going now. This is the second straight game defensively. They played great.
And Romo's pass is caught. In garbage time, Tanner will get a reception, and the clock ticking down, the waning seconds of the game. And that's the way it's going to end here in Philadelphia tonight. On an incomplete pass intended for Witten. It's all Philadelphia from start to finish. Total domination. A blowout. A big win in a must game. If you have a must game in October, this is the one. And for Jason Garrett, time to go back to Texas and regroup along with Rob Ryan. They've got Seattle next week. They have 3 of their next 4 at home, but they'll limp home with a mark of 3-4. Eagles upstart right now, 3-4. Wendy's post-game report next.